Are you ready to hear a story that will make you rethink everything you know about money, success, and even happiness? Imagine being a teenager, still in high school, and suddenly, you're a millionaire. Sounds like a dream, right? But what if that dream turned into a nightmare? What if gaining everything meant losing something far more valuable? This isn't just a story for finance buffs or aspiring entrepreneurs. This is a story for anyone who's ever dreamed big, stumbled, or wondered what truly matters in life. If you've ever felt the pressure to make it, or if you've seen others rise and fall, this tale will grab you and not let go. Because sometimes, the biggest lessons come from the biggest falls. Meet Alex, a bright, energetic 17-year-old from a small town. Alex wasn't born into money. His parents worked hard, but every penny counted. Alex, however, had a secret weapon: his brain. Not just for school, but for seeing opportunities where others saw nothing. One summer, while most of his friends were flipping burgers or playing video games, Alex was glued to his computer, devouring articles about something called cryptocurrency. It was new, confusing, and a bit risky, but Alex saw potential. He started small, investing his lawn mowing money, a few $100s he'd saved up. He spent hours learning, reading charts, and understanding how this digital money worked. He wasn't just guessing, he was studying. Then, one particular cryptocurrency, one he had invested heavily in, suddenly exploded in value. It went from pennies to dollars, then to tens of dollars, almost overnight. Alex watched in disbelief as the numbers on his screen soared. Within a few short months, that few $100s had turned into, wait for it, over $1 million. Yes, $1 million. Before he could even legally buy a lottery ticket, Alex was a millionaire. The news spread like wildfire. Alex, the quiet kid who loved computers, was now a local legend. His parents were shocked, proud, and a little overwhelmed. Friends who once barely noticed him were suddenly showering him with attention. School felt different. Some teachers treated him with a new respect, while others seemed a little annoyed. Alex bought his parents a new, much-needed car. He invested in their small business, helping them expand. He even donated a good chunk to his old school for new computer equipment. For a while, he seemed to handle it well. He was still the same Alex, mostly. But then, things started to shift. The constant attention, the endless requests for advice, or sometimes money, began to change him. He started believing his own hype. He thought he was untouchable, a financial genius. He started making bigger, riskier investments, relying less on careful study and more on gut feeling, fueled by the rush of his past success. He moved into a fancy apartment in the city, bought designer clothes, and started hanging out with people who cared more about his bank account than his personality. He stopped going to school as often, figuring he knew more than any teacher could teach him. He began to dismiss the advice of his parents, who cautiously suggested he save more and be careful. "You don't understand, Mom," he'd say. "This is different. I'm different." The money, once a source of joy and opportunity, became a source of arrogance. He started making decisions based on ego, not logic. He felt invincible. And that's when the market began to turn. The cryptocurrency world is known for its ups and downs, and what goes up often comes down, sometimes with a bang. Alex, blinded by his earlier success and a sense of invincibility, ignored the warning signs. He held on to his riskiest investments, believing they would bounce back even as their value plummeted. He refused to sell, convinced he could outsmart the market. His friends from the city slowly started to disappear as his wealth diminished. The fancy car sat in the garage, collecting dust, as he couldn't afford its upkeep. The expensive clothes felt heavy, like a costume he could no longer afford to wear. The luxurious apartment became a lonely cage. One day, Alex woke up to a cold, hard truth. The millions were gone. Not entirely, but almost. He had lost everything he had gained, and then some. He was back to where he started, financially, but much worse off emotionally. He was embarrassed, ashamed, and deeply alone. He moved back home, defeated. The whispers followed him. The kid who lost it all. His parents, though disappointed, welcomed him with open arms. They didn't scold him, they just listened. For months, Alex felt like a failure. He avoided everyone. But slowly, with the quiet support of his family, he started to rebuild. He got a job, a regular job, and started saving every penny. He went back to learning, but this time, he focused on financial literacy, not just chasing quick riches. He realized that true wealth wasn't just about the number in his bank account. One evening, sitting with his dad on their porch, Alex finally understood. He confessed his arrogance, his mistakes, and his regret. His dad simply nodded. "Son," he said, "money comes and goes. But lessons learned, that's real wealth. And humility, that's the richest treasure of all." The valuable lesson of this story. This story of Alex, the teenage millionaire who lost it all, teaches us two incredibly important lessons. Financial wisdom is more than just making money. It's about managing it wisely. Alex was good at making money, but he lacked the wisdom to manage it. True financial wisdom involves understanding risk, diversification, patience, and not letting emotions drive your decisions. It's about building a solid foundation, not just chasing quick wins. Money can be a powerful tool, but like any tool, it needs to be handled with care and understanding. Humility is a priceless asset. Alex's initial success inflated his ego, leading to arrogance. He stopped listening to advice, believed he was infallible, and that ultimately led to his downfall. Humility keeps us grounded, open to learning, and prevents us from making reckless decisions born out of overconfidence. Regardless of how much money or success we achieve, staying humble allows us to continue growing, learning, and valuing the people and experiences that truly matter, beyond the fleeting shine of wealth.